And we're live. We're doing shots. I'm actually drinking coffee. What are you drinking?
Coffee too.
Okay.
Coffee as well.
With no scotch in it.
But sadly, no.
Yeah. What's the middle of your workday? Yeah. I'm going to give you all a little stream tip. This is directly from the stream, and this is very spiritual advice that you're about to get.
Tell me.
I started putting on the weekends a little splash of Grand Marnier in my coffee or my espresso because I drink it black.
Ooh.
I don't put anything in my coffee.
Yeah.
Just a little splash of Grand Marnier.
Yeah. Ooh, cheeky sprinkle.
So good. So good. That orange with the bitter coffee is it raises your vibration. You tune into channeling and you want some spirituality, and we're talking about booze. You can leave it to me to talk about that. Booze and caffeine, that's where it's at. Hi, Susan.
That's right. That's right. Oh, hi, hang on. Let me see if I can see people coming on. Yay.
You can see
Monique's there too. Yep.
Because Matt is hosting us. And if you haven't watched the show before, I see a lot of you jumping on now. So welcome, everyone. Hi, Carla. I am David Strickle. I channel a source energy, a stream of consciousness that I call the stream. I'm trying to get my wits about me right now because we just jumped on. I'm very hopped up on caffeine right now, too.
Maybe you need some grammar.
Maybe I need to settle that down a little bit if I'm going to be channeling. So what happens on this show is I channel the stream of consciousness that we call the stream of David. Matt is our host. Very often I have lots of different hosts that rotate in and out, but Matt is a very frequent host with us. And Matt will ask your questions that you type into the stream, and you can ask anything you want. Hi, Denise and Nicole.
Hey.
Something you did miss in you're being very busy with your business, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Missed our reunion, our Taya graduate reunion, and you couldn't make it because you had other obligations. But
unfortunately,
it was fantastic. Nicole was on for a bit. Denise was on the whole time. It's at one point there was over 40 people on for the reunion. Yeah, it was nice. It was nice. And we had a song. We had a lot of stories about how people are utilizing.
Kumbaya.
What's that?
Kumbaya.
Actually good. Lisa Danhai, a graduate.
She made a song.
I didn't know that she sang or played. And, when someone says, I'm going to do a little song, I always say that could kind of go either way, right? And it was really nice. She played well. She sang well. It was a nice song. It was something she wrote. And it was really cool just to get together for 2 hours in that type of environment with all the graduates. And some of the current boot campers joined us as well, but not all the graduates, but all the graduates were invited, and about 40 ended up coming. And it's just really cool to hear how people that I haven't seen or even met with in almost 3 years are continuing to utilize Taya in their life. And by use, I mean, it's just become their new way of life. Because it's a mindset practice. Those of you that aren't familiar with the Taya practice, we talk about that a lot in here. But it's a spiritual mindset practice. And the end result of the Taya practice is really activating an awakening process in your life, because you're raising your default vibration, and you continue to raise your vibration and raise your vibration and raise your vibration. And you end up really experiencing this amazing life journey from a much higher perspective than most of us operate in. And we call that zooming out in the Taya practice. And when you gain the ability, whether it's through Taya or somewhere else, because there's other places you can learn things like this. I'm not claiming to have the exclusive on spiritual awakening, certainly. But when you learn to zoom out and see your life in the world from source perspective, and we all can, then your life changes dramatically, because your reaction to the world changes dramatically. And your fear dissipates, and your judgment dissipates. And when your outward judgment is detuned, your inner judgment, your judgment of self is detuned. And that is very transformative when you're no longer judging yourself the way that you used to. And it's a journey for everyone, and it never stops.
No.
I haven't hit a ceiling yet. The awakening process. That's the fun part.
Yeah, and two things I wanted to say about that, David. First was, I'm not surprised that people even 3 years later are still using it, because it's such a simple framework, and I think that's the magic of it. It's 4 pillars. It's very easy to do. You get properly trained when you go through boot camp, and you're out. Then it's just practice and consistency. And about not hitting ceilings, part of the reason I couldn't make it is because I've been so busy manifesting stuff for my business and for my life. And I'm in Hong Kong at the moment, and it's very difficult to get up here. And I manifested a way to get up. I've manifested work up here. Like once you understand the framework and the tools, it's incredibly effective. In fact, you need to be careful, otherwise you get run off your feet because you're like, oh, I want this and I want that. It's like, okay, bang, here it is. It's like, oh, you know.
Yeah.
So it is a fantastic framework, and that's so great to see that everyone is getting so much out of it because it doesn't discriminate. You can be a vegan, you can be an alcoholic, you can be anything you want and still do this practice. Like, and that's one of the things that
well, yeah, it's not a religion.
You learn from the stream.
And yeah, you're right. Because in the field that I've really evolved to in my life is this space of non-judgment of self and understanding that all of our little rules, you need to be a vegan, you need to meditate a certain way, you need to do this. That's all cool, but that's all human created stuff.
Yeah.
Source is not judging us, any of it. And zooming out to that source perspective of non-judgment and then applying that to yourself, the non-judgment of self, allowing yourself to have the experiences that you have without judgment, because the judgment is the thing that tends to hold you in unwanted places. And when you stop judging yourself as, oh, this is a bad habit, this is a terrible thing that I do, I shouldn't be this way, that just keeps it rolling in your life. You're giving it power. And when you stop judging it, if it's something that is for your benefit, it's going to flow through and flow out, and you're going to move on from it. But when you stick yourself in that place of, this is bad for me, I shouldn't be doing this, this is terrible, this is awful, judging it, you're just keeping it going.
Yeah, exactly. You're keeping it going by your attention, and your negative attention keeps dragging you down. I think that's a good point. Probably one of the key lessons I learned in starting to understand Taya and starting to practice it consistently is just how important your emotional state is. And that's something that not a lot of
your vibe is your point of attraction. So if you're elevating your default vibration, you're elevating your life on a continual basis. And it's a never-ending journey. You just go higher and higher and higher and have different experiences. And the flip for me with Taya was when I began appreciating my obstacles. When something would roll through that's an obstacle in life, something that we used to judge, oh, that was a dark period, that was bad, that was weird, I was ill during this time, or my money wasn't flowing the way that it should, or I gained some weight, whatever it is or was, I don't judge it anymore as, oh gosh, this is a bad thing and I've got to manifest my way away from it because it's so bad and so awful. So no, it's the experience that I'm having. And we're not here for perfection. In fact, I'm finishing up the Taya book, as you know, and you've seen glimpses of it, Matt. The chapter that I went and added a whole section on vibrational flow, because we've been talking a lot in the last few months about vibrational flow and how vibrational flow is much more important to understand than the law of attraction. Yeah. You're going to hear us talk less and less and less about the law of attraction because everybody's talking about the law of attraction, and the law of attraction is like gravity. It just is, and nobody's sitting around talking about gravity. And I want to learn how to use gravity better.
Gravity
I want to make sure that I stick to the earth, so I'm going to use gravity to stick.
Gravity doesn't work for me.
Yeah, we don't talk about that. And law of attraction is a real thing, and it's very transformative when you understand that you create your reality. But it's not about using the law of attraction. It's really about understanding your vibration. What you're putting out is attracting what you're getting back, and vibrational flow and the purpose of negative. Because the things that we judge as negative aren't really negative at all. And in fact, the chapter that I just added to the book, which I'm very excited about, is called The Perfection of Imperfection.
Lovely. Yeah, the value of negative, really, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a big part of the stream's teachings, is understanding that we're going to encounter imperfections in our lives for all of our lives, that none of us are the Instagram version of us. Yeah, believe it or not, I was talking about this the other day, that these people, I know some people that put themselves on Instagram that I actually know personally. And if you look at their Instagram, you think their life is just perfect. But I know them, and I know that it's not. And that's okay, because that's not supposed to be perfect. And you can put whatever on Instagram that you want. You know, I put all positive stuff on Instagram. I'm not on Instagram complaining about stuff on my Instagram feed. But, you know, there's this idea that like the image of Barbie, you know, for little girls, that you're supposed to be a certain, you know, body type and look, and that's all that's worthy. And that sends that message where we're trying to really get across perfection. And I've encountered people in my life that don't look like the perfect specimen in their life, whether it's their financial situation or their body type or whatever it is, but they loved themselves and they had confidence, and that was extremely appealing. And then I've known people that had the physical and the money and the houses and the cars and all that once you got to know them a little bit, they weren't so appealing. They weren't really living in true abundance. They weren't joyful. They were needing that stuff for happiness and understanding, and not yet understanding that there's nothing wrong with any of that stuff, but that's not what happiness is. That's not what joy is. And when you're in that constant state of thinking that one more procedure is going to bring you joy, or one more handbag is going to bring you joy, or one more house, one car, there's never enough. That's why we see people that never have enough of whatever it is they think is the definition of joy, because it's an egocentric definition of joy. The definition of joy is loving yourself and clarity about the universe and how the universe
exactly operates. And any joy that's based on an outside need is actually just another manifestation of lack. You know, and we were joking before about, you know, anyone can do tire, you know, alcoholics, drug addicts, vegans, whatever. Stream really doesn't care, but typically what happens, and I love this example, and it happens so often, is people come in saying, I want to manifest more money, I want to manifest this, I want to manifest that, and that's my objective for the course. And by the end, they come out and they said, oh my God, I never imagined I could have felt this good, and I don't care about any of the stuff I was interested in when I first started. You know, once you take the pressure off that, it just starts to appear, because you're in a joyous state of abundance, and the universe wants to provide you, wants to match that vibrational state.
Yeah, it's a big game changer in your life. Learn to detune and learn to separate source perspective from human ego perspective. And we're going to have both. We're humans. We're going to have ego. We're going to have egocentric needs and desires. But balancing that with your eternal source perspective is where it's at. And that's what the stream teachings are all about. Boot camp is definitely about all that. The Taya practice is all about that. But we teach the stream's teachings everywhere, including on this program. So if you have questions for the stream, start typing your questions in, because Matt will read your question. I will bring the stream in. And if you haven't seen that happen, my head doesn't spin around or anything like that. What happens when I bring the stream in is I always come into this program having freshly meditated. I always sit and sort of raise my vibration and get into a heightened state, if you will, before I even come on, because it helps. And then once we get going, I will take a moment to meditate. I will ask all of you to do the same. I just get quiet for a moment. I do some deep breath work. I set an intention for the stream to flow and to give everyone what they need, whether you're on live right now or watching this in the future. These videos live on forever. So, so that's what's going to happen with the stream. You can ask any question that you want. The only limitation, as always, is my intellect and vocabulary. I've got to be able to understand what you're talking about.
Use little words.
To use small words. You know, I'm a Southerner, you know, and we're not. If you're from the South, I really am a Southerner. I'm not making fun of you. I'm just kidding. So ask your questions, type them in. Matt, do you have some questions for the stream?
Yeah, always.
Okay.
Hi, Carrie. Carrie just said, my two favorite men. Hello. You're our favorite woman, Carrie.
Yes, absolutely mine. She keeps my business in alignment.
Yeah.
It's not spiraling out of control.
Actually, David, it's funny. You were talking before about this like ideal body type and look. You know, I normally live in in Sydney, and we were there last year for a New Year's Day party on the 1st of January, and we went to this, swanky bar, and my wife's tall and brunette and short cropped hair. And I think there would have been about maybe 250 people, maybe 300 people there, about 200 women. There would have been 6 brunettes in the whole place. Everyone else was exactly the same, platinum blonde, plump lips, no wrinkles on their brow. And
did you say you're in California?
Yeah, almost. Yeah, we're in the LA of the South. The Southern Hemisphere LA is Sydney. And the thing is, when everyone looks like a Barbie doll, it's boring. And the same with the guys. The guys were all buff and sitting there like this with like short back and sides, and it was just like, part of the wonder and the magic of this world is everyone's unique self-expression.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look the way you want to look, and love yourself regardless of what that is, and understand that your inner love, and that is your source connection, and that's why it's so appealing. That's why it's so appealing. So remember that movie? Gosh, what's her name? I can't remember names anymore. I'm so bad. The movie, the blonde comedian, where she was what you would consider probably an average-looking girl in the movie, and she hit her head, and suddenly she thought she was beautiful, and so she started acting. What's the name? We talked about it before, and she was very appealing as someone who was very confident, and people loved her everywhere she went because she was suddenly so confident, because in her mind she was just the most beautiful woman in the world, even though her outward appearance wasn't that, and she wasn't always like that. That's very true. When you love yourself, there's an effervescence about you that is very appealing, regardless of the commercial definition of beauty. Amy Schumer. Now give us the name of the movie so everybody can go watch it.
Thanks, Stephanie.
It's a cool movie. I think she's pretty funny, and I do like her movies. And it was an interesting premise, and it just shows you, and it's very true, how if you have that, if you see yourself as worthy, not necessarily beautiful, that inner beauty, the worthiness, source connectedness. If you see yourself that way and you live your life that way, you're appealing no matter what. And
100%,
I say appealing.
100%.
Yeah, you're attracting your vibrational match in that moment, whether it's friends, business associates, coworkers, romantic interests. That's what you're beginning to attract. And I've seen that transform in my own life, learning to love myself, and I had to teach myself to love myself enough to get healthy. And then I really focused on loving myself so much that I wanted to look a certain way because I thought that's what I was supposed to do. And then I got there, and it was kind of like, I'm not really attracting, what I want, because I dipped into attracting narcissists. Oh yeah, that's because I've dipped into my own narcissism. That's what I love about Taya, though, is we have these life experiences, and they serve our expansion. And so having had that experience, and then learning to just make peace with what is and loving what is, to me is the holy grail of all of it. So regardless of income or appearance or health, or whether your family is into you or not, all of that stuff, you can find a path to loving yourself no matter what. And the stream is all about that. The stream is here to guide all of us to our own worthiness of any and everything that we want. But what we really want is freedom and joy and clarity. When you have clarity, freedom and joy are easier to find, because when you have clarity on how the world operates, then all of the things that drag you down, the judgment of others, the relationships that don't work, politics, religion, all of that stuff with clarity is detuned, because you understand that you create your reality, that you are writing the script of the movie that is your life. And you can actually rewrite the script of everything that has occurred up until present day, which actually helps you write a more appealing script as you move forward, as far as just finding joy in your life. That's what these tools are all about. So ask questions. I see Nicole has a question. I'll leave that for Matt to read. Ask your questions for the stream. Matt, are you ready to go?
Yeah, 100%.
All right, let's do it.
Go, guys. Woohoo.
We are here.
Thank you for joining us today. We have a good group of people today, and we'd like to ask you some questions, if we may.
You may.
Thank you. We were talking a little bit, as you know, before you came in, about the value of self-love and about how important it is to create a positive internal vibration before you can attract anyone really worthy into your life. Could you give us some guidance on that to people who are looking for a partner, or a lot of people often want to manifest the perfect relationship? What's the first step to that?
The first step to that is understand that the perfect relationship is going to be a relationship where you are in full awareness and appreciation of the vibrational flow of the relationship. To dive deeper into your actual question, however, you are always attracting, all of you, all physical beings are always attracting a vibrational match. And we understand that you have all heard this before. But we are very much wanting to drive home the point that sometimes you are not honest with yourselves regarding your true vibration. You believe one thing, yet you're experiencing something else. And that is because your subconscious mind has a set of beliefs that you are sometimes glossing over. Your cheerfulness, your repeating affirmations that you don't truly believe. Those of you that are constantly saying that you're living in great abundance, yet you are not. We are not guiding you to beat yourselves up about this. We are not guiding you to judge yourselves as broken or unworthy or unable to fix your attractors, if you will. We are guiding you to an awareness that shifting your vibration, if that is your true desire, takes a little more work sometimes. Takes a little more work because you all operate in this thing that we speak of quite frequently of late, of vibrational flow. You repeat the affirmations, you say the things, but are you truly embodying and believing and stepping into the isness of these things? And when your vibration flows down, your vibrations are continually flowing up and down. You are impacted by polarity, and you are impacted by your reaction to your manifestations. Those things combine to give you a unique experience. And this is why no one can truly predict what your next experience is going to be. They can be general about it. It will be generally good. It will be generally bad. This may happen. This may not. Sometimes they are right. Sometimes they are wrong. We are not sharing this to guide you away from consulting your gurus if that is your choice. We are saying this to illustrate the fact that you all create your experience. You create every aspect of your lives vibrationally, but there are aspects of your lives that you very often do not want to take credit for. You tell us that if you had a choice, you would not have chosen that. But we are here to tell you that lower vibrational, the manifestation of unwanted things is of great service to you all, because your unwanted things inspire you toward more creation than your desires. The crafting of solutions to your problems and the allowing of evolution from habits of thought and issues that are troubling to you, that equals your expansion. And your expansion is exactly why you come to physical. So when you speak of attracting the most appropriate mate in this example, understand that the inner work that needs to be done will lay the foundation for the right alignment of beings to flow into your life. Romantic beings, and it is always going to be a reflection of how you feel about you. So if you want to be loved, start loving you. If you want to be healthy, start giving the power to yourself to attract excellent health. Stop focusing on the illness. Stop focusing on the lack. Stop focusing on the quote unquote losers that you have attracted to the past. Start focusing on the inner work that will ultimately shift your subconscious train of thought, which will actually attract the things that you want. The subconscious mind is programmed by your conscious habit of thought. And it takes some time and even some effort to begin to reprogram that, but you have the power to do it. But it takes practice. It takes repetitive practice and commitment, because you're going to flow through a vibrational flow up and down. And in the process of universal creation is you start out up here and you come up with an idea and you're very excited about it and it feels good and you believe it and you trust it. Inevitably, vibrational flow is going to flow down. And you're going to go down there and you're going to revisit that topic, and you're going to revisit it from a lower vibrational perspective of doubt, of fear, of worry, of impatience, and all of those things. And you have a choice. You can retreat and give up, which is very often the case, or you can allow your vibration to go back up naturally via vibrational flow, or even through your own focus. If you have a toolkit to raise your vibration, and all of you can create a toolkit. We teach these things all the time: meditation, appreciation, even low thought activities, loving yourselves more, judging less. All of these things raise your vibration. All of these things will take you back up your vibrational spiral. And in doing so, you will find solutions to the obstacles that you craft while you're down. So allowing the flow to go down and moving through that period with grace and ease and allowing yourselves to go back up is the universal process of creation. And it is designed for you to create a better version of, a more perfect version of. And it's true in every topic, including your relationships. You meet someone, you're excited about them, you feel they're your vibrational match, the vibration is very high. In time, the vibration is going to flow down. When the vibration flows down, you're going to start perhaps seeing flaws. You're going to have a rift. There's going to be a disagreement. The new is wearing off. You have a choice. You can flow through that period together and move through it and move back up in vibration and find new and renewed appreciation for one another, or you can retreat. And very often you retreat.
And start again and wonder why it's never fixed and repeat the cycle.
Indeed.
Beautiful. Thank you. Nicole has a question, which I think is probably timely. She's curious about developing intimacy within herself and with her source. Do you have any guidance for that? If part of beginning to attract what we want is to love ourselves more, how does self-love fall into that?
It's very important that you all understand that the intimacy with source already exists. The source connection within you is already within you at all times. It is always there. It is always available. It is always quite eager to rendezvous with you, if you will. You drown it out. Your ego drowns it out. And that is part of the universal process of creation. We speak of the perfection of imperfection, your ego drowning out that intimate source connection and placing you on what seems like a lonely path through human experience, where you are truly on your own, concocting a set of experiences that are wanted and unwanted, and at your best, expanding from the solving of your unwanted, and at your worst, allowing it to end that which you are in physical and everything in between. But that intimacy is always available. Notice that there are times when you have gone through a painful period that pain eventually subsides naturally and your vibration naturally rises. The spring always comes, as we often say. And the spring that returns is your natural source connection when you tire of holding yourself away from it. So developing the intimacy is about detuning and balancing the ego consciousness, detuning the transgressor energy, the things in your life that have caused you to be doubtful, fearful, the teachings that you absorb from your institutions of control that tell you must work hard and be fearful about money and be fearful about your health and be fearful about being harmed by another, and all of these things that you all manifest in tangible form. But it all starts as those fear-based teachings that you absorb that place you on that path. And when you come to understand that you are truly creating every aspect of your reality, and you learn that loving you and appreciating you and detuning judgment, and when you begin to detune external judgment, the work internally is automatic. When you stop judging others and then you can turn inward and then stop judging yourselves, that intimacy becomes more pronounced. And it's a never-ending journey. You move closer and closer and closer to a more ongoing source connection and begin experiencing a life of joy like you could not even perhaps imagine at this time. And there is no ending to it. There's a continual journey in physical of ongoing enlightenment and expansion and connectivity and joy and appreciating the up and the down, appreciating the imperfection. That's where the magic is. And then you return to your completed state and you are completely absorbed in that loving light. And in that loving light, in that place of perfection, that place of no contrast, that place of non-judgment and no fear, you desire nothing more than to come back and experience that human or that physical version of you once again of contrast, because you understand the expansion that you receive from that contrast. We are guiding you all to have a heightened understanding of that while you're in physical, so that you can enjoy this physical experience more. There's no magical prize for you at the end of the lifetime based on how you operate your lifetime. The prize is in every single moment. And the prize is offered in you loving yourselves, because when you love yourselves, you are in complete alignment with how we feel about you. And you all have your own version of this.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Yeah, thank you. And you're absolutely right. The magic is in the moment, is in being fully aware and fully present of that moment. And the more present we can feel, the happier we are, the higher our vibration, the closer our connection to you. That's it really, isn't it?
If there is nothing else that you take away from our teachings in this specific interaction, it's that you all have the ability to bring yourselves to the highest state of joy in any moment, in any circumstance, regardless of what is manifesting around you. You can release all fear and judgment, regardless of what's occurring, and bring yourself into full alignment with our energy and feel the joy that we are. You all have access to this, all of you, whether you ever speak it the way David does or not. That is inconsequential to whether or not you have this available to you. This clarity, this joy, this love of self. That it is so heightened that there are no human words that fully acknowledge the feeling that you can have for self. And when you achieve it, you will know it. And understand that when you achieve it, you can achieve higher and higher and higher levels of that, and achieve it more often, more of the time. And the more you're in alignment, the less you care about judging yourself, the less you care about your appearance and your bank account and your romantic status and your financial situation and your employment and all of those things. And the more you begin to operate your life in that space, the more of those things come to you, because you're not in the vibration of needing them anymore. When you're in the vibration of need, the universe is always answering yes. You need it. You need it because you do not have it. The universe does not judge. The universe delivers exactly what you are vibrationally aligned with. And when you are thinking that you need something, and when you have that thing, you're finally going to be happy, you will notice that that marker continues to get moved out further and further and further until you find yourselves at the end of your physical being, having never achieved that. And that does not have to be.
Yeah. It's actually the reverse of everything we've been taught, right? It's feel it first and it will come.
You are taught reverse because you're in a contrasting, thus polarized environment. And the polarity of your environment is intended to deliver contrast, to deliver unwanted things as much as it is to deliver wanted things. You come and you discern your preferences right away. You begin discerning preferences in the womb. And the preferences are the things that you want very much. And then when you're held away from your preferences, you're upset. And you continue in this pattern for all of your days. But when you stop judging the downtime, if you will, when you stop judging the lower vibrational energy as bad or awful or evil or dark or any of those things, and appreciate the downflow, you flow back up with ease. When you begin meeting your obstacles in joy, understanding that you manifest your obstacles for the growth opportunity, for the opportunity for expansion, and you experience that expansion as a human being. You become wiser. When you learn lessons, you become wiser. But when you begin viewing the lessons as experiences rather than building these walls of never again, because those amount to your abundance blocks. When you manifest something unwanted and then you build that wall and say, you will never try to start your own business again. You will never fall in love again. You will never put yourself out there that way again. You build that wall, that abundance block, and you all tend to do this in different ways. And that stops you from experiencing things in life where you can go back and manifest in a more fruitful way the next time around. Again, this is the universal process of creation. You flow up, you come up with a brilliant idea. Your imagination is absolutely the greatest creator there is. And you flow down and you begin to fear and doubt and worry and things like this. And you erase that creation that you've already crafted in your mind. And crafting in your mind, as you all say, is half the battle. You've crafted in your mind. It exists vibrationally. Now get out of your own way and allow it to come to full fruition, and understand that if it doesn't, that you are creating a more perfect version of. If you feel like you're about to manifest something, or if you manifest something and it goes away as quickly as you manifested it, and you begin to think there's something wrong with you or you're not worthy, that is not the case at all. You need to understand the universal process of creation, which is vibrational flow. You need to understand how polarity is impacting your point of attraction. Come to understand those things, and you become brilliant creators.
Yeah, it's true. I've had that experience a lot recently, and it's an adjustment when you start to realize how efficiently you can manifest things. And a lot of it is
the
that
judgment of the process is the key to manifesting the things that you want, and understanding that the more you want them, the more likely it is that you are pushing them away. It's the simply stepping into the isness of, the appreciation of whatever is. And that is not going to stick you in continually manifesting the same thing over and over again. The thing that tends to do that with most beings, especially human beings with your heightened intelligence on your planet, is the fearing of, the hearkening back to, the default vibration of really sticking yourselves in a certain place vibrationally. And as you go through flow, you are manifesting this combination of feelings about something that sends this mixed signal that keeps everything exactly where it is.
Yeah, okay. Because you clearly want something and have a very intense picture of what it could be, but then you start to doubt it, and so you're putting the brakes on.
Think of it like this: we everything is vibrational, and it is far more gray than black and white. But think about the thing that you want is right here. And as you go through vibrational flow, you are yes, then you are no, then you are yes, then you are no, you are yes, then you are no. That balancing of yes and no is holding everything exactly where it is. That's why the things that you want most tend to not manifest. The things that there are things that each and every one of you are very confident about that manifest very easily for you, and you all know what those things are. In fact, you perhaps even take them for granted. But there are others that do not manifest those things with the ease that you do. But the money, the relationship, the health, the big ones for you, and you all have one or two, the things that just never seem to materialize no matter what. And even if they begin to materialize, they dematerialize just as quickly. That's because this vibrational flow is holding you in this pattern of a default vibration, and you are going to take yourselves back to your default. The key to changing that is raising your default vibration overall, and then going back and working on different topics, being in the isness of being okay with whatever is, and knowing that the universe can deliver anything that you desire truly, but not needing it to be joyful. Finding the joy without, and then understanding that inner joy without anything changing is the key to allowing those more difficult things to flow in.
Yes. And I guess that work to shift your default vibration requires some detuning often, and continual detuning of things that have upset us in the past and stories that we're holding on to.
That is because everything that has occurred and everything that is ever going to occur is occurring simultaneously. So that vibration of that lesson that you taught yourself at age 3 or 5 or 19 or 25 or whenever, that's still active. It still exists, and it exists as your recollection of it consciously. And when that is a loop, playing on a loop in your mind, that you were damaged, that you were abused, that you were mistreated, that didn't work out, that plays in the back of your mind all the time. It is like having a window open on your computer. It's always there. It's always on. You are just not accessing it until you are triggered down your spiral, and then you become aware of it. They are the roots of all of your triggers, but they're always there, and they are creating what we have labeled your abundance blocks. And those can absolutely be detuned.
And the detuning can be as easy or as hard as we want it to be, really.
The detuning is finding your path to appreciation of your transgressor energy. Always, always, always. We label it forgiveness, but it is really beyond that, because forgiveness is very often a human's idea of letting someone off the hook for something that was done to them and wanting to move on from it. But the vibration of victimhood is still present a little bit in that vibration. So we want to move you beyond forgiveness. Forgiveness is certainly more positive than holding a grudge, but moving beyond forgiveness to full-blown appreciation of, understanding of, zooming out to a perspective of non-judgment and no longer judging what occurred. Judging yourself, or judging if there's a human transgressor, or even a circumstance or event transgressor. When you stop judging that, when you stop saying that your illness robbed you of your childhood, or this person robbed you of a decade of your life, or that job robbed you of your freedom and joy, that is transgressor energy, and that is doing more damage than perhaps you understand in your now, and will continue to do so in your future until you find appreciation for it, for the gifts that were truly offered in that manifestation. There's gifts in every manifestation, especially when you zoom out to a higher perspective of non-judgment, where we reside. We are not judging you for any of your deeds. We are not judging anything about any of you. And you all have access to our energy. We are part of all of you. You, as we have said, you all have your version of this. And we are not judgmental at all. We understand that you are told otherwise. We understand that you have teachings that there is an energy and energetic being in the sky that is judging your every move and holding you accountable for it. All of that judgment and accountability is human creation. And if that fits within your belief system, you then have the tools and the freedom to detune judgment for yourselves from your human perspective. Your human perspective is overshadowing your soul consciousness perspective to a large degree, but you all are aware of your soul. You're all aware of your connection to what you call source. You're all aware of it. And very often it is exploited in you, because you're told that it's something different than what you know it to be. And someone sign on to that belief system and allow it to serve you, and it can. But many of you are looking for something different, which is why you manifest your path to our teachings and teachings like this, that are completely reversed from everything that you've all been taught. But notice how your structures of control are no longer serving your expansion as a society. And notice how they're all beginning to fracture, if not crumble. We're collectively questioning all of it. This is why your government and your religion and your police forces and your monarchy and all of these things that have been structures of control for a number of years in linear time are all shifting. They're all coming into question. We are not predicting that they're all going to be destroyed and you're all going to roam the earth and do whatever you please without any consequence. But it should be obvious it is becoming obvious to more and more of you actually that these things are no longer serving you. You're all questioning the need for them. And in your questioning the need for them, they are shifting. And you are free to participate or not in anything that you want. Understand that your participation in any human creation is optional. Always.
Yeah. Oh, what a beautiful message. And that comes back to this idea of, we really do create our own little bubbles of reality, and where the person next to you might be suffering, you can be thriving. Where the person in front of you is thriving, you can be suffering. It really is up to you how you create that little sphere of your own influence.
It is. For many, it's a hard pill to swallow because you've all been taught to think like victims. And we share these words, and the reaction sometimes is that's easy for you to say because XYZ is suffering so much.
Yeah.
But you're judging the experience of XYZ. It is not your place to judge the experience of another because you are not having that experience. You do not understand what that soul's intention was of placing itself in a physical form in the path of that experience. And that is something that is difficult for some to comprehend. But we are guiding you to give it some thought. Because when you stop judging the experience of other beings and stop needing to, quote unquote, heal the world, then you can really set about healing yourselves. Because your need to heal the world and your need for other humans to live a life that pleases you more because it's in alignment with what you want. You're not fully understanding the soul's desire to experience contrast in a physical environment. You're not understanding perhaps that soul placed itself in the path of significant contrast for a reason, for the experience offered. But you are judging from a human perspective. And when we say you, we are being general. We understand that some of you understand very well what we were speaking of. But these are our teachings. This is what we are offering to all of you. And if you absorb some of this without initial judgment and allow it to sink in and ponder it, and we always guide you to your own inner guidance. We will always guide you to not just blindly follow what any teacher is offering, including what we are offering. Explore it, ponder it, decide for yourselves whether you're ready for it or not. You are not all here on the same path. You are not all served by the same teachers. There is no one size fits all in your world, and you see evidence of that all around you. There's simply no such thing as all human beings aligning with the same desires and the same path. That is not the nature of any physical environment. And as human beings, you are the most sophisticated physical beings on your planet. And as such, you are manifesting more sophisticated experiences, which includes creating technology, creating comfort, creating solutions to problems unlike other beings on your planet can do. And it also means slaughtering one another and treating each other very badly in some cases. There's contrast on every single topic. And when you come to fully understand positive and negative and the polarity that creates that, then you learn to disconnect from that human polarity, zoom out to a higher perspective, and understand that you are the creator of your experience and that you choose what you participate in and what you do not. And when you stop judging the things that you now perhaps judge as negative, you raise your vibration, because looking at the news doesn't cause you to plummet. Many of you get into spiritual teachings and you get into what you call spirituality, and you say that you can no longer look at the news. There's some more work to be done in your awareness of your world. We are not guiding any of you to partake in anything that is not your preference, but you should be able to be aware of what's going on in your world and zoom out to a higher perspective. And we say should, because you can. You can reach a space where you can zoom out to a higher perspective. Very few people on your planet have developed the ability to do this. But if you are absorbing our teachings, we are guiding you to this. We are guiding you to ponder this. Because when you stop judging what you're reading in the news as necessarily bad or evil or awful or terrible, and understand that you are absorbing information that is delivered to elicit a specific response, and what you are witnessing is humans having vast experiences, and some of them quite polarized. And then that's part of being in a physical environment. But you decide what of that you want to participate in. And it does not have to impact you in any way.
Thank you. We're almost out of time. Sorry, I've got to leave it exactly on the spot. Do you have any last messages for the people listening? It's been a fantastic interaction as always. Thank you for your generosity and for your wisdom.
We weave in a lot of ideas that are quite foreign to a lot of humanity. That's why we're here flowing this way. And those of you that have listened to other spiritual teachers perhaps have not heard things that we are sharing. But we are guiding you with very little human filtration. David's desire in sharing our message is to strip away as much human construct, as much human judgment as possible. And when you are absorbing our teachings via David's sharing, you are absorbing source and you are absorbing universal law, provided in a way that is not necessarily intended for everyone on your planet, certainly. But if you're ready to truly understand your eternal nature and your true desire as a manifested human being at this life that you are perceiving at this time, this is a story that you are all weaving for yourselves, expressing yourselves in one of infinite experiences. But you're all here, and you're all moving through the perception of linear time and experiences. And it's very important that if you wish to really comprehend this, that you understand that everything that you have been taught to provide contrast. You have been taught very often to live in fear. You have taught to feel like victims. You have been taught to obey authority and things of this nature. We are not guiding you toward chaos at all. We are actually guiding you to joy and clarity and peace and love of self and understanding of universal law so that you can operate your human lives more effectively. You are all collectively ascending at this time, but you're not ascending to perfection. That is not the goal. You are ascending to more clarity. You're ascending to a level to where you are going to begin being more independent with your thought and not being as impacted by your institutions of control. And in doing that, you are causing some changes in your world that are becoming more and more pronounced. Everything that's going on your planet at this time, including that which you label your pandemic, is a result of that. But zooming out and finding appreciation for this time and understanding that you're all on a magical spiritual journey. And it's indeed a very exciting time to be manifested as a human being on planet Earth, because you are all causing all of this. This is your collective ascension to a heightened level of understanding of universal law as physical beings. You're collectively becoming more intelligent. No matter how you label each other as idiots, it does not matter. Collectively, you are becoming more intelligent. And in your becoming more intelligent, your sharing of information and ideas, and you're exploring things that are quite different than what you've been taught in physical, you are causing this ascension. And this ascension is a magical time. And it is our guidance for all of you to dive into it and understand it and explore it and appreciate the journey that you have placed yourselves on. Love. That's all we have.
Oh, beautiful words. Hey, welcome back.
They're out.
They're out. Demons, be gone. That was amazing. And they're not demons at all. That was amazing. It was fantastic clarity and beautiful message about continuing to grow towards our own personal ascension and to continue zooming out and aiming to achieve a state of constant clarity and constant joy, regardless of what's going on around you. Mike, I'm sorry I didn't ask your question, but I think the kind of stream answered it in its own way, in that definition of continuing to do the practice and continuing to connect to your own personal connection will mean that you can maintain that state of zoomed out or detachment regardless of what's going on. Yeah. Kerry, sorry I didn't get to your message. I was a bit confused when the stream of David started commenting, but we'll add that. Kerry had a good question. Does flow and polarity slow down manifesting? I think they kind of spoke about that, about the balance, when you're high and you want something and then you go low and you kind of block it and it kind of slows it down, and that balance is kind of intended.
That's interesting that got posted by the stream of David, because
I think she was just signed in as on your account.
Was she? Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes it happens in Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was excellent.
I come back from channeling, so I'm just in this little daze over here, like, oh, cool. What happened? What are y'all talking about?
It was great. It was beautiful messages, and really lovely messages. And I'd encourage everyone to go back and listen to it again. And David, you definitely should. It was a good show.
Good. Yeah. All right. So I know you got to jump off. I know you got a meeting to get to. I appreciate.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Let's catch up soon. Thank you for listening. And everybody, thank you for watching and typing your questions. I really do appreciate all of you. I will see you next Wednesday at 4. And don't forget the radio show Monday at 2 p.m. Pacific. Everything's Pacific time when I quote time, by the way. So catch the radio show on Mondays live, and catch us live every Wednesday, usually at 4 p.m. Pacific. We were on a little earlier here because Mr. Matt is manifesting so much in his business that he has to jump off. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Lots of love. Bye-bye.